right, man. So the word on the street is J-Mo is looking really, really good in spring training. It's t-shirts and shorts, baby. That's all it is. But, you know, they praise Shador Sanders about looking like he's the best quarterback on the Browns right now, rookie minicamp. So there's something to talk about in the NFL. You got to understand, some people, that's their main thing that they do. Everybody not involved into hobbies. You know, maybe some people like hooping or basketball or gambling or, spending time with the fans. Some people live, breathe, eat shit football. Even they don't even play football, right? So, John Morton, the offensive coordinator, said, J-Mo's going to have a breakout year. A lot of people thought last year was a good breakout year for him. We thought that he should get more balls. No Diddy, no Harvey Weinstein, no Kanye. We thought he should have more value. And I think, with a new offensive coordinator, probably a little bit cleaner slate. He predicting a big year. And one thing that John Morton said is that they want to have between, what he said, 7 to 8 explosive, 6 to 8 explosive plays a game, maybe 6 to 10. I think he defined explosive plays of runs more than 10 yards and passes more than 20 yards. I think that's what I think Pro Football Focus or somebody defines as explosive plays. Okay, so and if you talking about explosive plays, man, the two people that get it done the best on the team is Jameson Williams and Jahmyr Gibbs, which I would like to see them do a foot race. Remember on Any Given Sunday when LL Cool J and Jamie Foxx had a foot race, and had a real fight too. But yeah, I would like to see it, in my humble opinion. But like I said before, I think that's what they're missing on defense. I'm gonna keep saying that they're missing a Jahmyr Gibbs and a Jameson Williams on defense. They're missing elite athletes on defense. Honestly, people say, "Well, CJ, a 4-4 is not slow." I'm not saying it's slow, but damn, can we get some elite athletes? You understand? Every elite athlete ain't a great football player. Hey, you ain't got to tell me that. Remember Taylor Mays? He was one of the greatest Madden football players to ever do it. Strong, fast, he just couldn't play football. Couldn't play football. But yeah, man, if he gonna break out, they're gonna be creative with them and they're gonna do some things that I'm gonna think about John Morton, he gonna do some things that he couldn't do in Denver. He gonna do some things in Denver he can't do here with Jared Goff and what Bo Nix can do. Because Bo Nix is pretty athletic. They're gonna do some things and some things that he's been wanting to do in Denver that, maybe the offensive coordinator really ain't want to do. Him and David Shaw is going to be interesting. Is it guaranteed to be a success? No. But yeah, man, I do think, J-Mo should get more touches. So, and like I said, I think it would make a lot of sense to get Amari Cooper. I think that opens up the offense. And I'll say that all the time. When you get a guy that can play that number one receiver spot, that I think it's the X, and he can win out there and I don't have to move him around and get a free release, that changes everything for the offense. What I'm really seeing is a lot of guys coming out of college that slot receivers who don't know how to get off pressure. That's what the whole thing about Isaac Tesla. There's a whole issue about him. Oh, he can't get separation. Neither can the kid from Arizona. They got to line him up in the slot to get a free release. So when you're talking about getting releases, it's not necessarily about size or strength, because Steve Smith was getting releases out there. Deshaun Jackson was getting releases out there. And they kind of use their speed and their technique to get off the line of scrimmage. So that's the thing about it. You want to be able to get that free release off the line. Whether it's, and sometimes you need some strength. For them bigger receivers, they stride different. So I could chop my feet. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm James, I could chop I'm out. Now they got to play off. So now when they play off you, so now guess what? You got to be able to catch them contested balls or them traffic, Oh, he play off. Guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to run a slant. Got to be the man to run a slant. That's where Terrell Owens separated himself from Randy Moss. Terrell go over the middle. That's why I prefer Terrell. Terrell go over the middle. And he'll truck the shit out your ass. Randy was built different. Terrell was built like a freak of nature. Randy was long and limber, so you're understandable, or you got to be able to run that comeback. And that comeback is like, you got to have timing. You got to get that ball. Like when you hit that back foot, that ball got to be out before your receiver come out that break. Because if you throw that comeback off, especially if you don't throw it outside to the boundary, you can just go out of bounds. The receiver can't get his foot in line. So the comeback route is one of the hardest routes I think you got to throw. Comeback and the out route. Because when you throw them balls out there, it got to be on point. If you leave that out route in, or you leave the comeback in, you misthrow it, it's pick six. Because think about it. You run that comeback, and you run this way, and you throw it, and you don't throw it to the boundary, or you throw it inside, and that receiver and that corner can jump it. It's hard to jump, but if that corner can jump it, that's six. Who back there? Like once he back there, so when you throw that out and you throw it behind the receiver in a DB jump, it's gone. So when you start talking about getting out there and running routes, you got to have counters. You can't just say, "Oh, JMO, run a skinny post or a flag route or a post corner or was it a post corner or just run these deep." No, you got to have counters. So you got to be able to catch that curl off coverage. That's going to be contested. You got to run that slant. And sometimes you can have counters that's deeper. You run that circle route where you kind of go in and go, but that take time. So you really, when they respect the speed, you want to go the out, the comeback, the curl, the slant. Those are usually the four that they throw, from the outside. So when you talk about Tesla and the kid, the dude from Arizona who said he don't like to watch tape, they're bigger receivers. So you got to understand, when they chop, they strides are different. So a lot of times when they get off, if they got the agility and the size to get off and the technique, they're gonna be tough to defend. You kind of get what I'm saying? So for them to create separation, you got to create separation with route running. You're like, well, Tesla is so athletic. Why he can't, the kid from Arizona athletic, why can't they create movement routes separation? It's about route running. So when you get stronger at the point of attack, being that big of a receiver, when you that strong and they try to press up on you that big, you got to be strong enough to get them off you. That's why bigger receivers have a tough time getting off coverage, because it's about technique being pressed. It's about and getting separation. It's about route running. And when you're a long strider, it's hard to run the routes the right way. It's hard to break down and get in and out of breaks, and you get to rely on your size and speed. So you get to the next level, that ain't going to matter. So you got to learn how to run those routes and clean that route. And that's going to be what takes Jameson Williams to the next level this year. That's what's going to take Tesla to the next level. Once he learns how to beat press coverage on the outside, and he learned how to run his routes, he gonna get separation. Same thing for the kid from Arizona. They get a little stronger. They're able to knock the hands down and then get in and out their breaks. You gotta think about it. Some of the best route runners wasn't necessarily the most athletic. You think about it. Jericho Cowtree made a living in the league. His route running was great. Ricky Probe, remember the slot receiver for the Rams? His route running was great. You know what I'm saying? When you start talking about what's the white boy out there that played with the Jets, Wayne Corbett. When you start talking about Cooper Kupp, when you start talking about Amon-Ra St. Brown, it's the route running. The route running is what's gonna keep you around. So if J-Mo gonna take that next step, it's going to be the route running that gets him to the next level. So I believe it. And I mean, when you talking about you want between, I think, 6 to 10 explosive plays, who you hanging your hat on? You're gonna see Gibbs in the screen game. You're going to see J-Mo more in the screen game. You're going to see a J-Mo, them getting J-Mo with the cavalry in front of him with the screens. And you're going to see a lot of more creative things. And I think he'll still keep their imaginations engaged too. But my number one thing I want out of John Morton, I want to see them with that offensive line they got. I want to see a real power run game. I want to see what the Cowboys used to do with the Great Wall. I want to see you motherfuckers run people over. I want to see them athletic Christian Mahogany. I want to see Rutledge. I want to see all them Panisa Will kick out. I want to see them get out in front of these guys where you pulling the guard, power O, slams, whams, crack, toss cracks. I want to see you get them big fellas getting downhill and just running over these defenses. I want to see the offensive line just cream people. I want to see a true power game. If you watch me play Madden, that's how, when I used to play it, I used to like to run power. I was one of those guys that sat in those heavy sets. 2 tight ends, single back, 2 receivers, one receiver, the close eye, 2 tight ends, a fullback and running back. That's what I used to like to do. Because you got to commit to the box. When you commit to that run, guess what? Think about when they commit all the people to the run, you can go over their head with the play action. Or if you get the proper blocking, once you get past that first wave, you just got to beat the safety. because everybody's pulled up. So, you know, that was what I like to do. And then I spread it out. I would spread it out, 4 receivers, a running back, spread the defense out, and I'll run it. But I like to see them get to running motherfuckers over. But that's my opinion. Let me know what you girls and guys think. Thumbs up the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel, the subscribe button, this bell icon button. Check out Detroit Lions Talk playlist for more videos like this. I appreciate the love and support. Peace.